Hours after Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam were denied bail by the Supreme Court, protests and sloganeering were reported at JNU yesterday evening, where left-wing student groups raised anti-Modi, anti-government slogans during a gathering at Guerrilla Dhaba. Around 30-40 students associated with the Students' Federation of India, Democratic Students' Federation and All India Students' Association were present when the slogans were raised. They were provocative in nature once again, such as Modi Shah ki Kabar Khudegi, JNU ki dharti par, were raised against the government. We've heard many of them in the past as well. The JNU administration, however, condemned the remarks. A statement issued by the varsity mentions the raising of such slogans is wholly inconsistent with democratic dissent and violates the JNU Code of Conduct and has the potential to seriously disturb public order. It added that such act reflects a willful disrespect for constitutional institutions and established norms of civil and democratic discourse, and that all stakeholders must understand the clear distinction between dissent, abuse and hate speech, which leads to public disorder. And all the stakeholders are requested to desist from indulging in any such unwarranted acts. We also had Union Minister Rijiju hitting out, saying that these protesters live in a safe and free India, yet they seek freedom. They openly abuse the Prime Minister, and yet these mentally ill people, he called them, demand freedom. So the big question is, are slogans like Kabar Khudegi against elected representative, that too after an SC order that you don't like, categorized as dissent? Our guests are joining us. I have with me Rajeshwar Kant Dubey, student leader of the ABVP, former president of the ABVP, joining me in the studio. So the argument that we hear again and again, Rajeshwar, is that this is freedom of speech, this is freedom of protesting, this is freedom to dissent. What is the argument that you have against these protests, even if it's against a state order, Supreme Court order, even if, let's say, it's in a very serious case like the case of the Delhi riots, it's freedom of speech for these students?
Actually, for the leftists in the campus, anything that they do is freedom of expression. They have got no foundation, no limitation of their freedom of expression. And I think this is not the very first time that such slogans have been raised in the JNU campus. If we go back into the history, even in year 2000, some anti-India mushairas were being conducted. In 2016, when 76 CRPF Jawans were killed in Dantewada, it was celebrated in the very same JNU campus. In the very 2016 year, you must be remembering Afzal Tere Qatil Zinda Hai, Hum Sharminda Hai kind of slogans were being raised. Even that was considered for them the freedom of expression.
No, but the entire campus first shot into national limelight because of Bharat Tere Tukde Honge slogans, although that has been contested whether they were raised or not.
No, it was being, even the, if you read the judgment, there were 17 slogans that has been considered that such slogans were raised in the campus. That is being identified. Yeah, the perpetrators, the ones who raised those slogans are actually not identified, but yes, slogans were being raised. So there are some, I'd say, anti-national elements, some anti-social elements that have been ruining not just the image of the campus, but the nation as a whole.
So you consider these anti-Indian statements that are being made. So what is the step that your varsity has taken? They have issued this statement. Is there an attitude which is stricter against these happenings that wasn't the case earlier?
Actually, I think this is the very first time that the JNU administration has openly mentioned the few names that were involved in these activities who conducted that Guerrilla Dhaba last night. So this is the first time the JNU administration is taking a stricter action as compared to previous times.
All right. I also have, what the protests were all about. We showed you what the administration has said, but can I just also take you why these protests took place in the first place? This was coinciding with multiple issues. There was the January 5, which was being marked from 6 years ago, January 22, attack on students and teachers that took place at JNU by masked assailants at that time. And as per JNU Students Union and JNU Teachers Association, this protest was held to commemorate that 6th anniversary, and they were going to organize this symbolic Guerrilla Dhaba protest at this site. They alleged that no accountability has been fixed even 6 years after the attack, and sought the release of Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imam as part of these protests, who they say are being incarcerated for raising their voice. That case has also been confused by many as a freedom of speech issue. They've even called the top court's decision to not grant bail an attack on judiciary itself. So this is all getting very muddled. where anything that doesn't go in the favor of a certain section, even if it's a very serious charge against Sharjeel Imam and Umar Khalid, somehow they are being celebrated as student leaders and votives of freedom of speech. Rajesh.
Actually, yeah, there should be a difference between a student, an activist, and a terrorist. For me, as a responsible student of JNU, as an activist of ABVP, I had considered these Khalid, people like Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imams, are the terrorists in themselves. Whoever considered they were activists, I would like to show them this very same post done by Umar Khalid. If you can zoom it, he celebrated. He was when Burhan Wani was killed in action by the Indian Army forces.
Yes, he celebrated. He eulogized Burhan Wani.
Yeah, actually, he did that. It was not the very first time. He even asked to burn the constitution copies, the very same constitution which
But they argue that this is something that is allowed as far as dissent in India is concerned.
Like celebrating a terrorist is allowed? Never. Burning the constitution is allowed? Never. I'd say criticizing the government, the policies is allowed, but no, never against the sovereignty of India, never against the sovereignty of country, never against the Jawans, the soldiers of India.
Well, that happens very often. What you're talking about is an idealistic position that it shouldn't be allowed, but we've seen it has been allowed. Yeah. Even governments are guilty of it. Sunny Dhiman is former leader of the JNU SU, is joining us. Sunny, the central question today is if wishing death and raising slogans like Modi ki Kabar Khudegi because you don't like a Supreme Court order, is this dissent? Is this activism? Is this student politics?
First of all, I'm not defending those students. Those students has to come on air and they have to defend themselves. But I was one of the person in 2016, back in 13 October 2016, I rose the same slogan from NSUI. We burned the effigy of Prime Minister and his minions. But, we never wished the death of the Prime Minister. When Bhagat Singh said, Samarajyavad Murdabad, down, down, imperialism. So, Murdabad is also equal to death too. So when somebody wish death to somebody, maybe Prime Minister Modi, so they don't want to kill Prime Minister. It is down, down. So you should not equate this. There is a common sense also. Nobody is wishing
Kabar
to kill Prime
Khudegi
Minister.
is not the same as Murdabad. I wish students used some common sense.
No, it is Murdabad.
If you common sense.
Have some common sense.
Common sense goes both ways.
Go and Google.
Google
what is the meaning of Murdabad in English.
And what is the meaning of Kabar
Murdabad
Khudegi?
in English? It is death too. Same.
It is same meaning.
Same.
So you are saying it's okay to raise slogans like Kabar Khudegi?
But intention. No, the important thing is that we should focus on the intention.
Okay.
The intention is that Prime Minister and the Home Minister, they are the seat of power, and the students and the quote unquote liberal student of this country should ask and condemn any negative act done by the Prime Minister or Home Minister.
You are opposing the Supreme Court's judgment
it is
of not
granting.
Of the bail.
No.
You are opposing. These students were opposing not granting of bail to Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam. I'm not sure why you should say Murdabad or Kabar Khudegi to
You are putting it out
PM
of context.
And everybody else.
No.
The court has given an order. What will it take for quote-unquote liberal students to respect any institution in this country? Forget the government. Respect some institutions.
Let me give you very precisely. 6th of January 2020, a gang of ABVP and goons from outside, they came and beaten JNU students, even JNU SU president on the 6th of January today. And that was a remembrance of that day, that 5 years has passed, that justice has not been delivered. The event was organized in that in that shadow only.
They did raise slogans in favor of Umar Khalid.
The event was not for that, but it was. You can see the pictures of Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam, the terrorists who have been demeaning the campus from very last years. So it was not only that.
I say that there has to be a trial. I say there has to be trial. There should not be any demonization of any person. There has to be trial. There has been 5 years. These people are behind bar. There is no trial. That is the problem. And I was the first person in India. I can vouch for it, who went to the police, Delhi police, and said, here is my complaint, please make it FIR against Sharjeel Imam's statement, but it didn't become FIR because a BJP person has to go and make it FIR so that they can claim that they're nationalists. It is not like that. And today I'm saying, yes, there is injustice happening to Sharjeel Imam because the trial has to be there. The trial hasn't started. It is about mere bail. And at the same time, if you go, there is a minister in Delhi government who was also involved in quote-unquote violence in Delhi.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't involved in any violence.
Of Delhi
Don't
High
say
Court.
quote-unquote.
Delhi High Court. Justice Muralidharan of the Delhi High Court ordered Delhi police to launch FIR against
So you
them.
respect that order, but you don't respect the Supreme Court's order. You respect that order of Justice Muralidharan, but you will not respect the Supreme Court's order to not grant bail.
Am I opposing the bill? Am I opposing the bill?
Are you for
I'm
bail
saying
or not
the
for
justice
bail?
Has to be equal. I'm saying there has to be FIR against both. There has to be a trial against both.
It was asked to be filed. I'm sorry, don't confuse two cases. In this case, Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam are booked under UAPA. UAPA has certain conditions when it comes to bail. Like many other laws that exist in this country. As student activists, you should know the difference.
In front of Delhi police said, Kapil Mishra in front of Delhi police said that let the Trump go or else we will take law in our action. ये उसी दिन की बात है जिस दिन दंगे छिड़े थे मैडम.
नहीं तो उनका केस चलेगा ना separately.
शर्जील पर और उमर
No, you hailed the order by a court. 1 second. You hailed the order by a court asking for the FIR in Kapil Mishra's case. Great. You got a legal victory. In this case, all legal procedures have been followed. And Supreme Court has now said that they will not get bail. They gave bail to 5 other accused in the Delhi case. Accept that also, na? You can't just hail court orders when you like it and then say Kabar Khudegi when you don't like it.
No, you have to understand the FIR still has not been filed.
So fight that case.
People. The problem is that ताली दो हाथ से बचती है. हाँ, फाइल किया है. There is a case.
I'm saying you fight that fight.
Court,
but please tell me, why is it that after an SC order, after the SC order, you are going and raising anti-India slogans? You keep talking about Azadi. Okay, answer me one thing. Sunny ji, answer me one thing. I have 30 seconds left. Sir, I have 30 seconds left. Answer me one thing. The minister today is saying that a minister is saying that these students can abuse the Prime Minister, can wish death to the Prime Minister, and they keep asking for Azadi. ऐसी क्या आज़ादी चाहिए आपको जो आपके पास नहीं है आज़ादी?
It is all about the freedom of expression, and the expression was the intent that the Prime Minister is responsible of creating a space where justice is not delivered. You know, after 5 years, you are talking about slogan. There was some people who wrote slogans against India, Bharat Tere Tukde Honge, but it has been 9 years. What is that justice?
Fair enough.
JNU,
so it happens in any cases, no?
Liberal spaces
That's the point that I'm trying to make. It happens in many cases. Please fight the good fight for a faster judicial system. We are all with you.
We want justice to be delivered, and the justice will be delivered when people will talk about it. People
just finishing.
He's saying they have the right to raise these slogans. Murdabad,
First of all, I'll condemn.
Accept karte ho to Kabar Khudegi bhi wohi hai.
I'm condemning Sunny's statement. Do not compare Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh with these terrorists. Second, coming to it, Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imam are not just ordinary students. Just go back to their histories. He was the DSU activist which was the frontal organization of CPI.
I have to leave
one of the most dangerous terrorist organization banned by the international organization.
I have to leave it. Let the courts decide the merits. Let student activists not feel that they know more than the courts do. I leave it at that. I do thank our guests for watching.